This morning, we've got royalty in the mother effing house. Yes, the one, the only Angie, also known as Auntie. Miami born, Miami raised, entertainer for over a decade, public superstar by day, community powerhouse by night. And now gearing up for a 2026 world tour. We're going to be talking a lot about that as well. She is talent, she is truth, and she is never afraid to say the quiet part out loud. Please welcome to my bag the beautiful Miss Angie Ovahness Pryce.
Hi.
How are you, goddess? How you doing?
Take it day by day,
Yeah.
Working hard and trying to stay relevant in the
Girl,
biz.
booked and busy. You know what I
Booked and
mean?
busy.
Like, I was talking to somebody else. I can't remember who it was, but it was like, if we're not working, we're out there promoting ourselves to
Right.
work. You
Right.
know what I mean? And like, we don't have that luxury of, a 2-week paid vacation. Like, we gotta be like on it.
It's always work. Even when you're traveling for a vacation, it's still work somewhere involved. So,
Right?
I'm
Because you
excited.
never know where your next big opportunity will come from. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Or
Like,
you never know who you run into for your next big opportunity to come.
Yes, and that's something that's so true. Like, I remember there was this kid who carried a DJ's records. Yes, I said records, okay? And that kid ended up being like a multi-million dollar DJ in the future. Like, you just never know who is carrying your records one day and might be giving you that next big job the next time.
Or the book of CDs.
Or the
as
book
it's
of
called.
CDs. You were talking about how crazy it is. This like the holidays are here.
Yes.
You're in your your festive attire.
Very cozy.
And you and me are like one of the few girls that literally work all of South Florida. Like,
Right.
over the weekend, you were
Everywhere.
you-
I was in Fort Myers
Yep.
Friday, Wellington Saturday,
Wellington.
and back at Fort Lauderdale on Sunday.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's a blessing,
Yes.
Girls, I see plenty of girls come and go in the scene over the decade that I have been a part of the scene.
Yeah.
And it's just truly a blessing to still be one of the girls that are still booking, busy, and out there working without a major title behind them, without, without just the entourage that a lot of legends like TP and Erica and Daisy and a lot of other girls that I, take my hat off to still right now today, because without them, those doors would never have been open for me.
That's so sweet. And you don't hear that from queens most of the time. They don't think about who came before them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
they don't know about the Tiffany Ariagas,
Tiffany
and the Nikki
Ariagas,
Adams,
yes.
and the Electra and Latrice Royale back in the 90s, and the Copa. I love those stories.
Yes.
Story time for me in the dressing room with legends. It's like music to my ears.
right? And I love Latrice. Latrice is one of those girls that is like, you remember her from her Fort Lauderdale days. You
Right.
remember her from her Miami days. You know what I mean? When she was on the show and we'd all be like, what the hell? How come you're not talking about us? Because South Florida, wasn't cool to be from back
Right.
then. You know what I mean? And then finally, she let it out that she was from here, et cetera. And like, right now everybody's kind of basking in the glory of Athena Dion being on the next Drag Race,
Shouts out to Athena
Woo, woo,
Dion.
woo. And Juicy,
Juicy
and
and
Mia
Mia
Star.
Star.
We love you guys. We love you, love you, love you. Thank you for
Even-
representing us. You
Even
know?
Lucky Stars in Maya, Iman LePage, in Malaysia, Baby Doll Fox.
Yes.
Those girls was around when I first was starting and up and coming. And it's just amazing to see, them on national TV. So big shouts out to
But
them.
they worked their ass off to
Yes.
make that happen. You know what I
Of
mean?
course.
And like, I'm not saying that, there are some people who are those stupid influencers, Sugar and Spice or some bullshit that ended up on. And I was like, can you leave now? You know what I mean?
Well, nowadays, social media plays a big part.
100%.
Back then when I first was coming around, we didn't really have social media. We was very much word of mouth,
Yep.
or, it was just popular spots that we would perform at. So, social media really took drag and evolved it into another
stratosphere. Yeah, I mean,
pretty much.
it gave life and jobs and careers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, our girls can buy houses. You know what I mean? Like, this is just like important shit, And I look at the TPs and the Daisies and the fact that they've been doing this thing for 30 years, you know what I mean? And still doing it. And then thinking about Athena, who applied 13 times.
That's a lot.
13 times. I'm saying that out loud because she's thinking about being part of a future pageant, right? And that she's been a part of a couple times. And I'm like, 13 times, right?
It's a lot, you know.
Sometimes that dedication is a lot.
Yeah, and even shout out to Nicole Hollowell because, she was a Lips girl and now she's her own girl.
Yeah.
She's her own boss.
Yeah.
She's doing it.
And she's taking local girls with her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which I always, which again, if you're gonna rise, make sure you take your friends with you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if not, then F you. That's just, it's the truth. I'm sorry,
I mean, well, we are here to be raw and uncut, so I mean.
No, but it's the truth, though.
It is the truth.
I mean, come on.
Because you have those girls that do leave behind girls that, don't have the knowledge or possess the skills that they have coming up in the game. So it's a breath of fresh air to see girls that are thinking of girls back home and that still push, support local drag. And
look, you to me are the total package, okay? Because you could dance, you could lip sync, you can perform, you could style a dope ass wig, you can paint your mug like nobody's business. All these things are a total package, and a lot of the queens don't have all of that. You know what I mean? And then it's like they'll see a queen with a beautiful wig and they're like, oh, where'd you get that wig? I'm not telling you where I got my wig, because then that makes you a better queen if you get the same wig.
Well,
And just like when they ask me, I ain't telling them where I got my wig either.
I don't mind. I'm all for the community. It's the one thing to rise to the occasion as an entertainer, but it's even another rising to the occasion as helping somebody that's trying to find their way in. I think back when I first started, I was told that I wouldn't be nothing. I was told that I would never make it as far as I did. I had the luxury of being in different states and different cities and meeting plenty of different girls and, just being part of different environments. And it's awesome. It's not the same when you're home versus when you're out of town.
Yeah.
You take those risks when you are performing in another girl territory and, you don't be like, I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to overstep their boundaries. And, I just want to be a good girl and follow the rules every now and then.
Every now and then. Hence, did you catch that though? Because it's not every time. Every now and then I'm going to be a good girl,
Every now and then a good girl.
And you've been performing for over 12 years and you also working a full time at the same time.
Yes.
For trans women, that visibility really matters.
It does. It really, really does. Because, sex work is work.
Yes,
I want to say
Thank you.
that.
Repeat that. Repeat that.
Sex work is work.
Thank you. That's why they call that shit a blowjob, because it's work.
It's hard out here. And, everything that trans women are going through on a day-to-day basis, like, it's scary. It's not a comfortable feeling being in situations when you can't be your authentic self, or you gotta kind of hide what you are, what you like, or just, not living your life how somebody else that portrays heterosexual live there. And, I'm very big on 9 to 5. I've been working since I was 18 years old. I have been a manager. I have been in a lot of different places in a lot of different situations. And I push that issue of, get out there, get a job. Let them know that we too can be the girls that rise to the occasion for the job. Let them know that, don't step on my toes. I don't step on yours. Don't bother me if I don't bother you. And, just keep it professional. Respect goes a long way. And, I'm not going to say it's all peaches and cream at Publix.
Yeah.
There are times when you run across people that misgender you just because. And it's It's okay.
It's hurtful.
It's
hurtful.
It's hurtful, but it's okay because the bigger part of saying, you know what, excuse me, I'm sorry, that's not my gender. I go by the pronouns of her and she. You know, you can't allow people to disturb your peace when you are comfortable in your own skin. And I feel like a lot of girls have to understand that every day we walk down the streets, or we walk in stores, or we're heading to different areas, we always have to think positive, and we always have to put ourselves first. Our feelings and we do matter. So at the end of the day,
100%.
you know, I push that issue of, you know, being the only trans girl at the Publix that I work at. And, you know, they treat me with the utmost respect. And I could not ask for nothing else in the world, honestly.
I love that. But you can't, you can't depend on all kinds of folks being, their best selves. You know what I mean? You're always going to encounter some Karens. You're always going to encounter some male Karens. You're always going to encounter
assholes.
some maggots. You know who you are. With the red hats going to Publix, you know what I mean? Like, and that's your job. So you have to be professional at the same time while thinking,
But
wow.
one thing I can also understand, my managers understand, if I do get out of character, they know it's because somebody took me there.
It had to be for a reason. You weren't just going to be, come out your face and be that way.
It's not like I'm just this hothead. It's like they took me there. But, by the grace of God, 5 years in public,
wow.
I never had to lose my cool because somebody misgendered me or somebody just, being disrespectful.
Yeah. So, well, no, and if they did, you know how to carry yourself. Yeah. You know how to answer in a way that doesn't come across as you represent our community. You know what I mean? Like in the best way. All right. So before we go deep down in some more stuff, let's play a quick game with Miss Angie. All right. We call it Say What with FayWhat. So it's a quick fire, right? I give you two answers and you pick one of them. It's real quick. Like if I say black or white.
Black.
All right. I knew you were going to say that. All right. Here we go. Ready? Go. Miami or Broward?
Miami.
Drag or pageants?
Pageants.
Sequins or rhinestones?
Rhinestones.
Public sub or Cuban sandwich?
Public sub.
Heels or boots?
Boots.
Soft glam or full beat?
Soft glam.
Brunch show or nighttime show?
Brunch.
Beyonce or Rihanna?
Rihanna.
Lip sync or live vocals?
Lip sync.
She had to think about that. Auntie or Banji Angie?
Auntie.
All right, now we know you better. All right, let's talk more about Angie Ovahness Pryce. All right, Pryce, do you use it all the time? I mean, because Pryce is a respected family.
Yes, it is. Funny story. When I first was coming around and I met Asheria, we did not get along.
Bitch, I'm coming for you next.
We didn't get along. I just felt like back then, when you're a new girl on the block and you feeling it and you feel like, you at your best potential and this one girl that's like, you feel like raining on your parade. I felt like that was a feeling. And then, like, as time passed and we started running into each other more and, she started touching up my makeup or she started fixing my hair or she would look me over. And one night at Azuka, back when Sugars was Azuka, Tana was like, Asher, you should just make her your daughter. And that's how it happened.
Oh, my God! Oh my God! Just like that. Listen, you just never know. You be walking down the street, you end up with a mom. That's just how it goes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And we've been rock solid ever since.
I love that.
We are more than just mother and daughter. We are genuine friends. I have gay kids of my own, and I preach to them personal life over this life. Your personal life comes first because when we take off the wigs and we take off the makeup and, we lay down in our beds, we come back to our reality self because this is an escape for us to lash out and let out all those things that we have bundled up inside on a day-to-day basis. And I make sure my kids are working. I make sure my kids are, you know, just mentally, and not even just my kids, just friends in general, you know.
Yeah.
I'm the type of person that'll just text you randomly and be like, how are you feeling today?
Aw.
Is everything okay?
I love
Because
that.
I know mentally sometimes it can be tough.
Yeah.
We go through things in life, and, you know, I know.
Yeah.
And people were like, how you are able to walk like as if nothing is wrong or you're not going through anything. And I'm just like, you know, God makes no mistakes. And I'm a firm believer, and I go by that and I walk by that because, you know, as low as things can get at times, it's always that light that brings me back to reality and pulls me back out of that going far-fetched left. And, you know,
Yeah.
I'm just
You're you.
day by day.
Day by day. Let's talk about this tour that you're talking about. All right. You said that it was time for the world to see Angie Ovahness.
Yes.
You know, and I know that you also, you always do guest parts in a lot of different places around the country, but what cities do you want to conquer now? Are they some cities that you've already been to?
There are some cities that I have been to. I remember first starting out, Texas was one of those cities. I am working on Texas for next year.
Texas is not easy. As a
It's
state,
not.
it's very similar, and they've got a governor that's very similar to ours here in Florida. And I mean,
It's hard.
not an easy state to go to.
It's not, but you know,
Does that push you more to want to make it one of the cities you want to go to?
It definitely pushes me more for one of those cities that I want to go to. I'm currently confirming Puerto Rico. I'm excited about that. That'll be my first time ever performing in Puerto Rico. So
They'll love you.
and you know, just many other little places. Atlanta, South Carolina, North Carolina, New York, and you know, just so on and so forth. Just, you know, just traveling.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that. All right. So, Auntie, you've been a real open voice about pageantry, real loud voice about pageantry. After a few pageants, I've seen posts from you really laying it on the line. Maybe not agreeing with the outcome, mentioning judges, no sugarcoating. I have been a judge at some of these pageants, and I've been like, oh shit, she talking about me? You know, you know, from my seat, I have never seen cheating or anybody acting like they have favorites from my seat, okay?
Right.
But my seat is just my seat, you know what I mean? You've said that this industry can be super shady, which I don't think there's anybody watching that disagrees with you, you know? But most of the people watching haven't lived it. You've lived it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So let's talk honestly, like, where are the issues? Where are the issues with pageantry right now?
I want to say the issue with pageantry is politics. I feel like there are a lot of girls that came before me and other girls in pageantry that has made a amazing name for themselves, that has competed and won over 20 and 30 plus titles. And, you know, I like to say every day is not a good day for girls. You know, it's times when a newcomer girl can come around and, you know, get the best of you.
And kill it. Yeah. And have a good day.
And I'm all about honesty. I feel like pageantry is dying and there is no excitement, but not even just in pageantry, in being an entertainer outside of pageantry. I just feel like the scene is killing itself. And my pet peeve is when people are like, oh, you know, we got to stick together and we have to stand together, but your mouth is saying this, but your actions is doing something totally different. And with pageants, there are people that be on the panel that are giving good girlfriend points or, you know, not going so hard on their girlfriend how they will go opposed to me, a stranger. And it's a lot of that goes on. And, you know, it's the number games. I love numbers. I love math. So, you know, numbers.
Angie's secretly a nerd. Okay. She's one of those sexy nerds that you've heard about.
I love math. And I know mathematically things don't always add up. And, being a contestant, being a competitor, looking at people in the back and looking yourself over, you see the flaws before it hits the stage.
Yeah.
Not just from yourself, but from others. And then, like at the end of the night, when you're counting and you're adding and you're subtracting and dividing, you're like,
it don't matter. It don't math to you.
It don't always math. And it been like that for a long time. I tell people when you compete in pageants, you have to have tough skin. Because one, you're not going to always hear what you want to hear.
Yeah.
And you're not going to always be, just untouchable, as in you walk across the stage and everything is at 100%.
Perfection.
And as much as we, amp ourselves up before each category to go out there and, do our best, whether we're grabbing the microphone talking, even when it comes down to talent, even when it comes down to modeling, and just what you choose to put on the stage, it's kind of a mental thing. And it's
a mind fuck. Say it. It's okay.
Yeah, it is a mind fuck. And, already mind fucking yourself to get to the end of the night, and then you're looking at your sheets and it be so far as a bitch can't get you for anything, and they just write something stupid on your score sheet and take points off just because. And I'm a firm believer in the saying, you reap what you sow. And a lot of girls will sit on the panel and
like other pageant girls.
Yeah, like other pageant
queens.
girls. Even people that has been around pageantry, has been to pageants, and, kind of get the idea of what to look for and how to judge, and, just overall how to look over a queen when she's out there on the stage, or a king. And, sometimes they pencil whoop you for no reason.
Yeah.
And, it takes a lot of courage to get out there on that stage.
It takes courage. It takes money. To put a package like this together. I'll tell you, for me, Angie, like if I am one of the judges and if I know one of the girls, that are competing, I'm like, I am not going to think about when you hosted this shit here, when you won that pageant, when you performed at this thing yesterday. Okay. It's all about today. And if you're but in the same aspect, if you're giving me the same shit that you would give me when you do host this thing over here today, I expect more.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I can only speak for me. You know what I mean?
And that's fine to expect more, because this is something totally different. This is not a show. This is a pageant.
Yeah.
So it's very ask of us as contestants to put our best foot forward. But you can't always expect somebody to spend their money, their hard-earned money.
A lot of money. You can't just get a dress off the rack and wear it for a pageant. Okay.
Some people do now. Some people do. But it's not a bad thing, though. No.
If it's beautiful and if you can pull it off, again, if you're wearing the garment and the garment isn't wearing you, then fuck me. Okay, then you did it. You know what I mean? But
there are times, when you want to lash out because you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You're not going to, it's like, in a sense, you're sitting in the back after all that transpired, and you read your score sheets, and you're just like, huh? I did Miss Boardwalk pageant Monday that just passed. I was not successful. I got left standing. And one of the judges wrote on my scores in presentation that it still bothers me right now.
Of course it does.
Is I don't care for it, but to each its own.
That was what they put?
That's what they put.
Okay.
And it bothers me because...
What? I don't even understand. That's not any commentary to what you were saying. That's their own personal opinion on what... I don't get that.
And that's what I'm getting to. What bothers me is people judge on their opinions when that's not what it's called for.
No, that's not the job of a judge. It isn't.
When a pageant owner is giving you a handbook, and each category in that handbook specifies what they are looking for, what to expect, how to maneuver yourself in that category, and then you get to a pageant and the judges are not aware of what you trained yourself on to get ready to do when you walk across the stage for each category, that sucks.
Yeah.
Because you did all that hard work behind the scenes to get out there for a judge, one, not to understand, or two, just don't have a clue of why you're saying certain things, or why you're wearing certain things, or why you chose what you chose to present in front of the judges that night. What bothers me is it's a lot of judges that I honestly feel like that shouldn't judge. Because when you say stuff like that on somebody's score sheet, then I go back and I look at your rep, as far as what
have you done?
What impact you had made in pageantry. And then when you realize that it's nothing, you won backyard pageants, because you have backyard pageants, and then you have national pageants. And backyard pageants are currently judged by, you know, our girlfriends, our loved ones, our sisters, our aunties, our grandmas, and our mothers, and et cetera, et cetera. That don't count.
Yeah.
That doesn't count at all, because at the end of the day, these are the people that know you. So they're going to take it easy on you.
Yeah.
They're not going to sit up there and crucify you as they should, because that only makes you better, not as an entertainer, but as a person in life, period. And for you to write that on my score sheet, yeah, that bothers me, because you don't even have a pageant career. You went and did a national pageant and you came in dead last. So how dare you sit there and antagonize my hard work, my hard-earned money that I invested to my package, because everything I had on came out of my closet.
Yeah.
You came in last and you was wearing other people's things. And that bothers me. And when I first came out, I used to be a hothead, and I used to snap, and I used to,
You're still a hothead.
I
Angie.
really.
Okay, I was the judge for the Ms. Out South Florida pageant, right? And hello, Out South Florida, we adore you. And
Shout out, South
shout
Florida.
out, all right. After that, like that's when you really were like put the post out there, like, come on, this is, you know what I mean? Like, we got to do better, you know?
Yeah,
and it wasn't just a bashing; it was more like community. We got to do better. We got to do more. We got to.
You can't expect for me to spend $6,000 to $7,000 for me to get there, and judges play in your face. That's not fair to me.
Yeah.
How is that fair to me? And then my pet peeve is, after the pageant is over, they wait a couple of days, and then they reach out. They're like, well, how are you feeling? You know how I'm feeling. You can tell by my face expression how I was feeling the night of. And that didn't change. And, you know, it just sucks, because
they give you the papers the same night.
Some give you the paper.
They need to.
Night.
They should.
Some.
You know,
they should.
They should do it the same night. That way, there's no thought of you change the papers or you change the numbers or anything like that. You know what I mean? I know that when they're doing Miss Florida, Scott is like counting. It was like, nope, I want them to have all their papers right now so they know what happened.
Well, they don't at Miss Florida, they don't give you back your score sheets. They email them to you, but you can.
But you can look at them at the end of the night, and you can take a picture of all of them. You know, and take them with you that night, and then look them over. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, shady. Like, if you are waiting 3 days to send it to me, I'm gonna go with AI. You can change all this shit. You know what I mean? Like, you know,
you can make it make sense in 3 days.
You can make it make sense,
because sometimes at the end of the night it never makes sense, and you know, it just sucks, because how you expect somebody to go work hard and put together a package for you to not only pistol whip them, but disrespect their creativity, disrespect them as an entertainer, disrespect them as a whole. It's one thing to, you know, pull me to the side after the pageant and be like, you know, I feel like this could have been better, and my points came from X, Y, and Z. If you didn't write it on the paper, it's ways how you go about things. We all adults at the end of the day. You have to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. If you walk across that stage and at the end of the night you get your score sheets back and you know your flaws, and you looked around and you see everybody else's flaws, and you're like,
what the hell?
Well, damn.
Yeah.
What did I miss?
Yeah.
And you get to questioning, and you get to feeling some type of way. And I just want people to put themselves in that person's shoes. When the people are walking across the stage, respect them.
Yeah.
Don't sit up there and tear them down because you have some type of power at this current moment, because you never know when the shoe is on the other foot.
100%. You never know when the shoe's going to be
when the shoe is on the other foot, and then you at the end of the night like, oh my God, well, what did I go wrong? Well, it started back when 2 weeks ago when you said at this pageant and you did what they did to you.
Yeah.
Because you reap what you sow.
I said, we're so jealous of each other, Angie. Like, you know what I mean?
Jealousy. I love, the thing is,
you love who you love, okay?
But see, this is the thing. I love everybody. I'm the type of person, you can tell me about somebody, you can tell me that they're just horrible. And I would look past that and still give them a chance.
Benefit of the doubt. Yeah.
You have to do something personally to me for me to feel a way towards you. And I have always been like that. Even before becoming an entertainer, just in life general, I have always been like that. And, it's sad to say a lot of people in the industry, I just look at them and I just shake my head, because sometimes it doesn't require you to go back and forth and attack people or, just call people out and stuff, because it just be too far gone at that point. And a lot of people that are around that say they want to help, or they want to influence, or they want to be a helping hand, or they want to give advice, or they want to do this. Some of them don't mean well, but that's for people to find out on their own. And I tell people all the time, I've been around for 12 years. In 12 years, the only thing that has changed is my attitude. I have came from going to 10 to actually, taking a deep breath and just moving forward.
She's doing meditation these days, She's doing a lot of kumbaya, which has her very centered now.
A lot of zenning.
A lot of zenning. She's doing a lot of zenning. But I mean, listen, like, no joke, jokes aside, right? I love that Angie's very open about how she feels. If she felt that something was unjust, she was going to put it out there, because she didn't want to carry that around, right?
Not even just for me, though. I want people to understand, if I speak on something, it's not just for me. It's for somebody that's coming after me, or it's in another situation that's like that situation that's coming up. I don't just go hard for me. I go hard for everybody, because I feel like everybody should be treated the same. I wouldn't care if Asheria was on the judging panel. when you on the judging panel and it's lights, camera, action, you are not my mother. You are judge number 2.
Exactly.
And I'm contestant number 3. Wow. That's how I want it to be. I don't want the good girlfriend points. I don't want.
You always talk about unity. That right there is part of unifying our community.
I want somebody to know that me and you compete together, and my mother, my sister, my auntie, my cousin, my great aunt on the panel. I want you to know that there's none of that when we start this pageant. I'm just like you, and I'm an individual, and I'm a contestant just like you. And even if a person would be like, I'm the type of person, you crown me and I know I didn't win no pageant, I'm like, baby, I can't do this. This is not me.
Wow.
This is not right. I know for a fact I didn't win no pageant. And I'm okay with saying that. It's not about being a sore loser. It's about applying your wrongs and becoming a better person. And that's just who I am.
I love that. Well, Angie, thank you so much for being on the FayWhat show this morning. You're super sweet for doing that and for being you.
Thank you for having me.
Happy holidays. Make sure that you follow Angie on Facebook at Angie Ovahness Pryce, and also at Queen of Headstand on Instagram as well. That way you'll follow her and see where she ends up showing up. She might be in your city in 2026, right?
I hope so.
I love that. Well, Miss Angie, you know what time it is. Please look into that camera and give them your best FayWhat.
FayWhat.
Yeah, there it is. Angie Ovahness Pryce. Thank you so much for being on my show. I adore you, Chicky.
Thank you.
Qué linda. Thank you. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
We'll be right back.